Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. For those that don't know me, my name is Sahar Andrade, and I am a diversity, cultural competence, inclusion, and leadership consultant and trainer. And today, what we are going to be sharing is about inclusive leadership. Specifically in turmoil times as we are these days, we feel like we need more inclusion than ever. And I know that most people are talking about diversity, but diversity without inclusion will not work. Diversity can work sometimes as just calling our differences, but at the end, if we don't add inclusion to it, it will not work. So today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about what is inclusive leadership. And actually, inclusive leadership started, it's a new, capability that has been added to the leadership capabilities that we have. And they started talking about it only in like 2011, 2012. So Deloitte has been doing a lot of work on it. And there is another company called The Catalyst that has been basically a champion of inclusive leadership. So today, without further ado, because I know some of you have to leave early, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And Vico is going to be watching if there are any comments on the side, right, Vico? And I'm going to start sharing my screen. So today, this is what we'll be talking about, inclusive leadership. This is what today, during the hour that we are together, we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about what is inclusive leadership and why it matters. We are going to build a business case for both diversity and inclusion and why it's most important than ever. And we are going to talk also about the 6 key signature traits of inclusive leadership and why is an inclusive culture is important and how to implement an effective inclusive leadership strategy, both from the leaders and from the organizations. So we are going to start with a simple definition of what leadership is. And I call it before and after. So the classic leadership definitions as we know it is basically an interpersonal process by which an individual influences behavior and attitudes of others that come from all different walks of life to be aligned together and to achieve a common goal. But the modern or the new world leadership definition is actually all that plus plus. So the plus plus is leading a productive, innovative, quality-minded, multi-generational, multicultural, multi-gender, and diverse team in an evolving workplace and marketplace that is way more complex than ever before. And that's why we live in such a diverse world now that we needed to have leaders that have not only the capabilities to lead people, but also to be cross-cultural and inclusive leaders. So why now? Why are we talking now about inclusive leadership? Because most of the leadership skills are perfected in a homogeneous environment. So basically we're same old, all people kind of look together the same. And that's why it's not that hard to actually lead people that look like us or think like us, because there is no challenge there. And the core aspects of leadership as we know it, like setting direction, building teams, influencing others, motivating others, this will never die. These are timeless qualities and skills that we need to have as leaders. But a new capability has emerged. And it's vital to the way leadership is executed now. And it's starting to become more and more evident as we're going to see during this presentation. And that new capability is called inclusive leadership. So the elements of inclusive leadership are echoed in servant, transformational, and authentic leadership. And even for servant leadership and transformational leadership, we started talking about it only like a few years ago. Not really, maybe we called it something else, but it became more defined under servant and transformational leadership in the last few years. So inclusive leadership is actually a powerful new capability that is uniquely adapted to lead in this new diverse world. That doesn't mean that we are replacing everything that we know about leadership, is actually adding to it and amplifying it, and also built on 6 traits that characterize an inclusive, not only mindset, but behavior as well. Because we can't just have the mindset without actually translating it into behaviors as leaders. So why the shift? Why all of a sudden we're talking about, okay, inclusive and inclusion? Because we are living in a new diverse world. We have diversity of markets, we have diversity of customers, we have diversity of ideas, and diversity of talent. And diversity and inclusion is basically the edge that will take you over the competition as an organization. And as an organization or as a leader, you will be 2 steps ahead of any other competition in your field or in your market. So the 4 emerging trends that are reshaping the world's environment, basically it has been influencing the business and leadership priorities. Like I said, the first one is diversity of markets. We have seen a huge demand that has been shifting to emerging markets. And these emerging markets are actually coming from the growing middle class. And the growing middle class is one of the biggest growth opportunity for any organization and any leader to lead, specifically in this diversity of market. The next one is diversity of customers. As you know, the customers need to see themselves reflected in your employees, not only in your employees, but in your management, not only in your management, but in your executive team, not only in your executive team, but in your board as well, because they want to see themselves reflected or mirrored on who you're putting them to serve them. The customer demographics and behaviors are changing. We are becoming in such a cross-cultural world that the diverse customer have new behaviors that we might not have been used to them before. And they expect not only good customer service, but they expect excellent customer service where there is personalization of products, because technology has empowered them and they can see the power of who they are, what they do, and how they can shift markets. And then diversity of ideas, of thoughts, has always been a huge part of diversity, because the diversity of thinking and ideas are actually a new strategy to protect organization from stagnation, from status quo, and from group think, where everybody just agree with each other in an artificial harmony just to keep the peace, because they got so used to work together. And it generates actually insights that are breakthrough. And of course, diversity of ideas and thoughts is gonna lead us to quick innovation, to more problem solvings, and to creation that will enhance the group performance. And the last trend is diversity of talent. There are shifts in age profiles. Now we have 5 generations in the workplace. We have still the silent generation, we have the baby boomers, we have the Xers, we have the Y or millennials, and we have the Z. The Z are 25, are between from 5 years to 25 years old. So a lot of them are already between 18 and 25. They are in the workplace, and the Z generation is 25% of the US population. So we have a shift in age profiles. Their education is different. As we know, the millennials are the highest educated generation that we have in the US. Genders, cultures, and all these differences come with expectations of equality, of opportunity and equity and work-life balance. And all of these factors are affecting the employees and their engagement in the organization.